Have you inherited or been given some records recently that you have absolutely no idea about, but you're looking to sell them and you're not sure what the value is? Maybe you have some records lying about from ages that you just want to try and get rid of, and you're just curious to see what the prices of some records are like. Well, in this video, we're going to be going through a few records that are quite commonly owned that could be worth hundreds of dollars. Let's get into it. So more recently, I actually came into quite a few vinyl from my barber. He was cutting my hair one day and he just said, "Oh, Ollie, I've got a load of vinyl lying about if you want to try and sell it for me." So I was just like, yeah, why not? He got me to pick up his vinyl that he had lying about. I looked through it and I was like, wow, there's some great vinyl in here. And since I've looked it up and listed some for sale on Discogs, which I will leave a link for in the description down below, but some of it is worth quite a bit of money. And I thought maybe this would be a useful video for people to see how much some vinyl is worth. Like, we all have maybe a grandparent who doesn't listen to vinyl anymore. Maybe we've inherited this stuff and they're looking to sell. So I think that this could be a really useful video to see if that vinyl that you have just lying about could actually be worth something. Before we get going, I just want to say, make sure you stay to the end of the video because I'm going to show you how to look up your pressing on Discogs so you can identify the exact copy that you have to see what the value is. So to start with, I'm going to talk about a classic album, Dark Side of the Moon. Obviously, it's got a cover that everyone recognizes, probably one of the most sold vinyl records ever. A fantastic album. This was one of the ones that he had in the bags that he gave to me. As you can see, the cover isn't in great condition. This actually can be worth a lot if you have a first edition of this vinyl. So here is the vinyl itself, as you can see, and what you're actually looking for in a first edition is a full prism full of this light blue color. Those vinyl can be worth hundreds of pounds because that is a very first edition of this record. Other than that, a version like this one here, which is just an early stereo version, can be worth quite a lot of money. Unfortunately, this version is sort of scratched up a little bit. You can't really play it without it crackling. It doesn't overwhelm the sound, but still it's not exactly like listening to a mint edition version of this. So the suggested price of Discogs for this was just over £10. But yeah, if you have a version that has that filled in prism, then that could be worth hundreds of pounds. So go and check that if you have this album lying around. Next up, David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Obviously, probably one of his most well-known albums, iconic artwork. This one itself, again, the cover is sort of coming apart, so it's not in great condition, but the vinyl is really, really good here. It's hardly scratched at all. Plays really, really nicely. No skipping or anything. Fantastic. This one was worth £37. This isn't a first edition, I don't think. I think this is just the early stereo pressing of this album in the condition it's in, and potentially you have another version that you can sell for even more. So yeah, definitely worth keeping an eye out for these. Next up, might be quite obvious to some, but the Beatles. Anything you have of the Beatles sort of early pressings are generally worth a lot of money. Here, luckily Jack had a few vinyls, as you can see, and I'll show you each of them. All of these were worth a decent amount of money. So yeah, starting off with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, a fantastic album. Really, really enjoyed listening to this one, especially on vinyl as well. This one was worth £20. This isn't in great condition, so if you find one that's in better condition, it could be potentially worth more. Obviously a really iconic cover as well. Next up, Abbey Road, probably one of the most iconic album covers of all time. This turned out to be another early pressing of this as well, worth £40 according to Discogs. And then we have the Beatles 1967 to 70. This one was worth in the region of £70 as well, which is incredible. And the same for this one, Hard Day's Night, again worth in the region of £70, which was unbelievable. I think Beatles is one of those artists that everyone's grandparents owned their records back in the day, so potentially your grandparents have a record that's worth 70 quid just lying about at home that they never listened to, that you could potentially sell for them. Now finally, my biggest shock of the records that I got given was this Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. I saw this and I didn't think too much of it. It's actually got a cover that comes out, so you can see the windows there are die cut, and when you take it out you're just left with the empty windows, which is so cool. And then it came with this like inner sleeve thing which wraps the vinyl up, and then it came with the 2 vinyl itself, which actually were in really good condition, like hardly skipped or anything at all. I had a look for this one on Discogs, identified which pressing it was, looked up the price considering the condition, and this said that it was worth £270, which I literally couldn't believe. Like, how this was just a pressing that Jack had lying about. Had absolutely no idea it was worth that much. Obviously an early pressing of this record with the die cut windows and the poster inside as well, all in quite decent condition. So bear in mind yours might not be in as good condition as this. Definitely worth something. Just couldn't believe it when I saw how much this one was worth. Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti there, worth quite a bit of money. Okay, so we are at the desk. You can see my screen here, and the website we are using to do this is Discogs. It's a fantastic website for vinyl collectors. If you've not already got an account, then you should definitely sign up. You can record your collection on there and buy and sell vinyl. It's fantastic. This is the best resource for doing this. But we have got an album here, so we're going to take this Hard Day's Night for an example, and what I do is just Google the name of the artist. So in this case, Beatles. We are looking at albums, and this is A Hard Day's Night, which you can see there, so we're going to click on that. So next thing you see here is find your version, so we're going to click on that. So what we're going to do is go through each of these categories on the left and select the one for our vinyl. You can see that this vinyl says made in the UK, sold in the UK, so we're going to select the UK edition. Next, we know it's a vinyl, so we're going to click that, and as you can see on the disc itself, it is a Parlophone record, so we're going to select that. You can see here that it says 1964, so we're going to select that. Here we've got all the different vinyls, so what I'm looking for is the same one that has this exact label, but what I would do is go through each of these, and then if it has a similar sticker to mine, then we look through the details and see whether we can find whether it's exactly the same. A2 is split over 2 lines, which I think it is. The only difference with this one is that on the back here you can see that it is published by Ernest J. Day. On the website you can see it's printed by Garrett and Lofthouse Limited, which is different to that. This one is printed by Ernest J. Day, which is the right one for us. So this is our vinyl, and we can then go on and sell and buy our vinyl. So if we click sell, you can select what the media condition is. So actually, although they don't describe them here, if you just click on any of them, it tells you about how to define what one you have. So this one here for me has significant scratches, surface noise, but it doesn't skip, so I would say it's good plus. And then we scroll down further and you can see the suggested price there. Right guys, we have reached the end of the video. I hope that you have found this one valuable. If you have, then make sure you give it a like and share it with someone that you think needs to see it. If someone's got old vinyl lying about and you want to sort of warn them how much money they could have lying about in terms of how much they could sell it for, then make sure you send it to them too. And yes, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more vinyl videos. If you're into vinyl collecting, make sure you drop me a subscription down below, leave a like on the video, and I will see you in the next one. Let's go.